since I've done a talk type of makeup tutorial. Now today I'm going to do my current foundation and concealer routine. You guys have seen me do a ton of tutorials on makeup and everything, but I always rush through the foundation and concealer routine. So I'm just going to show you guys how I do that today. First things first, skincare must be on the skin. Skincare is very important. Whatever serums, moisturizers, eye creams that you already use, put those on your face first and give them a chance to sit in. I usually give each thing that I put on my face at least 5 minutes if I have the time to set, sink, you know, do its thing in my skin. So I've already put on my brows. Usually my brows are done after my foundation, but for the sake of time, I said I'd go ahead and do those first. Eyeshadow's on, eyeshadow's done before my foundation because I don't want any fallout. So once my skincare has set in, I would go in with a primer. Today I am using the CoverFX Mattifying Primer with acne treatment, anti-acne treatment. And I'm just taking a Real Techniques foundation brush and placing this primer all over my skin. So once my primer has set, I will go ahead and grab whatever foundation I'm using for that day. And my holy grail go-to right now is the Makeup Forever Face and Body. I do have a review and demo on this foundation already. I'll go ahead and link that down in the description bar. But what I do, like if you're in a rush and you really have somewhere to be, you can mix your primer with your foundation and just do your face. What I've been doing is I mix my foundation with my concealer. This is the Makeup Forever Full Cover Concealer. If I'm in a super duper 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 rush, I will mix all three, primer, foundation, and concealer all together on a mixing palette. I'm just using a mirror today because I don't know where my mixing palette went. It got up and walked away. But yeah, it's just for time purposes. It's not gonna change anything about how your foundation sits on your face. But what I do is I put those together and I mix them together. You can use a spatula if you want. I'm just using my fingers because I would usually like to warm up my foundation first on the back of my hand, but since I'm mixing it, I'm gonna have to do it this way and it gets a little bit warm this way. So just mixing everything together, just the foundation and the concealer. Now most of it is going to end up on the back of my finger. I don't mind. What I do is, you see this discoloration here? That's where I lay whatever is on my finger, because that's where I'm going to start putting the foundation. So I'm going to take my brush for the Makeup Forever Face and Body. I've been loving the Real Techniques stippling brush. So what I'll do, so you can see it's already here. I'm not one of those gurus that has flawless skin already. So just so you know, if you didn't know. So once the foundation is here, I go ahead and start buffing. Okay? And then I work it up into my face. Some people start in here and buff. I would prefer to start down here because as you can see, it's already doing the job. Don't forget to bring it down your neck. If you have a function and you're taking pictures, do get your ears and get behind the ear as well. So just buff away. And then I'll go ahead and start on the other jawline. Okay. Bring it down, 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 and buff in towards the skin. What starting on the jawline also does is it doesn't cause you to get heavy makeup on the inner part of your face. It helps you to have, you know, cause your makeup to look like skin once it's thinned out and blended up into towards your face. Go ahead and do my forehead. Forehead is the same concept. Start from the edge of my hairline and work my way down into the inner portion of my face. So once you've laid down the base of your foundation, notice where your hand is on your brush. Your hand is usually really close, really, you know, up, further up on the brush. And what that is causing is for you to lay down a lot of product. So what I do is whatever is left on my mixing palette, I would move my hand down the barrel. What this does is it causes you to ease up in terms of the pressure that you have on the brush and the pressure that you're applying to your face. So you're going to get more of an airbrush finish once you've moved your hand down the barrel of your brush. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. Okay, we've got our foundations. You can see I still got a little bit of discoloration, but again, starting from the jawline, working my way up, my hand is down that barrel. It is not up on the barrel. This is gonna, again, give us an airbrushed effect, almost like skin for the foundation. Now, I know there are a lot of women of color that like to cover up the dark mark that's on our contour line. I like to leave that there because we already have a natural contour, if that makes sense. The darkness, the pigmentation in our skin that's on our, you know, in our jawbone, that signifies where our jawbone is, that's a natural contour. You don't want to really cover that up and put back a contour color. It's, you know, it's already there. That makes a whole lot more sense to leave it there so you can at least know where to start your contour. So by me seeing that and not covering it up, I know that that is where the hollow of my cheek is. That right there. Look at it. It's like God marked your face and told you where your contour line is. Seriously. And I also give this like 2 minutes to set while I prep my concealer or whatever else I'm thinking about putting on my face. Once my foundation has had a chance to just sit on my skin and do its thing, if I feel like I have some little discolorations poking out or I'm not satisfied, I would go ahead with my full cover concealer from Makeup Forever and I would just spot conceal with my finger anywhere that I think needs extra help. Once you're done putting on your base, your foundation, it's time to cover up any dark circles that you may have. Now, how I find my dark circles is you can't see them looking at me face on. I would bend my eyes, as you can see. Now I know where my dark circles are. Alright, that's how, to me, that's the perfect way to find them. Don't just go thinking, oh, I have dark circles, I'm just going to cover up. No, you have to look down. This is going to tell you exactly where those circles are. So right in here is where they are. But I'm also going to be highlighting with my concealer. There are two types of concealer slash items that I do use to do this. I would use my Kevyn Aucoin Skin Enhancer, or I would use what I have right now, which is the MAC Prolongwear Concealer, and this is in NC45. In the Kevyn Aucoin Skin Enhancer, I use SX13. Now with the MAC Prolongwear Concealer, I do use my beauty blender. What I do is once I started my foundation, I would go ahead and soak my beauty blender in water, squeeze out any excess water, and I let it sit in its little tray for the entire time that I am doing my my foundation, just to get out any excess water it can absorb or dry. You can always wrap it in a paper towel just to get out any excess water that may be in there. But what I do is this concealer, let me tell you, you only need a little bit. One pump is probably too much for me, but that's how I like to use it. I would take this finger right here, the ring finger. It does not have as much strength, I would say, as the other fingers when you use it. I would make 3 dots, 3 to 4 dots, that's it, under my eyes. Once that's under my eyes, I would go ahead and start from the inner part of my eye with the sticky end of my beauty blender and work my way out, and then work my way back in to fill in the lines that are underneath my eyes. Don't apply too much pressure. Just gently work this in. I also get up into my tear duct area, this area in here, and I work my way down. This to me acts as a natural type of contour for the nose. And I've been doing this for a while now, and I have not needed to contour my nose because of it. I take it all the way up, and then I use the bottom of my beauty blender to blend out any harsh lines that have occurred right there. And just like that, I have highlighter underneath my eye. So I'm going to do the other eye the exact same way, going outward and coming back in to fill in the lines that are underneath my eyes. Go back in with the tip of the beauty blender and pick up just a little bit. Cupid's bow. And my forehead. I have a flat forehead, so I need to push this out. Once I'm done with my forehead, again, whatever is left on the back of my hand, I put it at the arch of my brow. This is also to push this section out too. So it really stands out. There. Now you can go down the bridge of your nose with this. I'm not going to because I like how the concealer already pushed it out for me. So at this moment, once you've put on your concealer, you would want to go ahead and set anything that needs to be set if you're not going to use a cream product. If you're using a cream product, now would be the time to go ahead and use it. But for right now, I will go ahead and fill in some areas that need to be pulled in, which is contouring. I am going to be using a blush to do this. And the blush that I like to use is MAC's Blunt right here, along with the Real Techniques contour brush. You can use a MAC 109 as well. But I just get a little bit of that onto that brush. Knock off any excess. I do not keep excess on brushes at all. Take your time. Remember when we put on our foundation and I told you that God basically marked our faces where our contour should be? Do you see it? Do you see it? Alright, good. That dark line right there, it's so easy. If you can't find it, top of your ear, straight down. And I use circular motions. Boom. Hold in my face. That right there. It's so easy, you guys. Also, make note of where I hold my brush. I do not hold it here. I hold it here. What did I say earlier? It's the pressure that you're applying. It's the pressure that you're applying to the face. That's very important as to how things lay on the skin. That's enough. That right there. You see the difference? This side is all hamster-like and this side is nice and chiseled. The top of my head, because I want to add some dimension up there, take the exact same blush, pull my forehead back a little bit, temple, sweep, back and forth until I get the desired effect that I want, and then I bring it down because everything has to connect. For the nose, I like to take a fluffy brush. This again is completely optional. I don't always do this, but I'm going to show you today. I take the exact same color that I contour with a fluffy brush. Looks like this. Or I would use something like the Real Techniques domed eyeshadow brush like this. Knock off excess, very important. Very important. Now, my routine, I would leave it this way. But just for today's purposes, I would take that fluffy brush, start at my eyebrow base and pull the color down into my nose and pull in. Okay? Down, in. Same thing on the other side. Make sure that excess is off. It's like you're knocking off all of the product anyway. Down, in. Down, and in. And that's how I take out and do my nose. And I just blend out everything. Nobody wants to see harsh lines. I go ahead and set anywhere that has not been set. Foundation has to be set. There's no way around that. I do set again with my CoverFX Matte setting powder. I do have oily combination skin, So I have to be matte. I take any type of big fluffy brush. I would either take my Real Techniques powder brush, or I would take my Real Techniques blush brush. It doesn't matter which one you use, just make sure the brush is nice and fluffy and the brush picks up products. Knock off any excess that might be there, and I set. I start with my neck because sometimes I would usually forget, so to make sure that I don't forget to set my neck, I would start with my neck. Alright? I do not sweep, I press. If you're going to a function, like a really big deal type of function, I would use a powder puff and press the setting powder into the skin. That will ensure that nothing moves for the entire night wherever you are. Okay? Today I'm going to be using this blush right here. It's called Sweet Samba by MAC. And bring it down and make a figure 8. I learned this technique at the Makeup Forever boutique in Dallas at one of their classes, and this is something that I kept doing. I loved how it placed the color onto my skin. It's amazing. And it's so super easy. Just make a figure 8 on the face. Beautifully lays the blush color. And you see what it does when I smile? When I smile now, it looks like I have these really rosy cheeks. It's not like if I don't smile and it's not like if I smiled when I did it and then the blusher will drop. Since we did the figure 8, it literally covered the entire area of the cheek that would be naturally flush if you smiled and stuff. Now for highlighter, again, if you had cream products, you should have put them on a long time ago before you set your face. I have been using Magnetic Appeal. This is one of those extra dimension type of skin finishes from MAC. What I love to use this with is either the MAC 159 brush or a fan brush. I love the MAC 159 because it does evenly distribute this product and it's so amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and use this brush with that skin finish. How I use it is I know where my temples are. I know where my cheekbones are. So I find them and I just pull the color down and I pull it up. It's just making a sweeping C motion. Place your highlight wherever light naturally hits your face. So the chin, Cupid's bow, and you don't need a lot of this, you guys. As with anything I tell you, knock off the excess when you get it. I sweep down with this brush and then I go up. Just like that. I put whatever is left on the brush down my nose. I grab a little bit more. And I make like trees on my forehead area. And then sweep just a little bit at the high points or the arches of my brows. This I think is the most important part of my foundation and concealer routine. It is buffing. I do this because there used to be times where I do my makeup and I take pictures and I can see a harsh line and I'm like, not really into that. So I would take a clean brush. This is a Dillium Tools 959. It can be a really dense brush, has to be dense, has to be a fluffy brush. What I would do is I would go over my face with this. So anywhere that I placed product, I would just swirl this on my face. And this would buff out and blend out any harsh lines that may be on my face. This is where this finishing powder comes into play. You can take that same brush that you smooth everything out with, dust off any excess, and just go over everything. Okay? Just to be safe, and that smooths out everything. Once you've buffed out the skin and there are no harsh lines, you can't see any harsh lines, you would go ahead and set your whole entire face. I use the Urban Decay Chill Makeup Setting Spray and I just douse my face in it. Don't move. Don't move, seriously. I moved. You're not supposed to move. I just sit there and let it set. Alright you guys, that is it for my foundation and concealer routine. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this tutorial, if it was helpful to you. And also let me know down in the comment section if you use and love any of these products. Alright you guys, thank you so much for watching and subscribing if you have. Bye!